Now, in terms of the next bit, in terms of children as well, that's equally important. I want to see it in the whole, in terms of submission, that we're all submitting. And Phoebe's got some thoughts about being a child in the Landreth-Smith household. Ooh.
God, I'm still crying. That's amazing. That love. When love is so big in that house, it just sorts me out. It sorts me out. Like, it's so good. Anyway, I'm meant to be the funny one now. I'm meant to liven this up, and I'm not. Okay, so here are my 5 tips for parents raising kids from someone that has just finished being a kid and is now married. So I think it's just a little bit fresher for me, isn't it, than maybe them talking about it. 1, shared experiences create trust and respect. Shared experiences create trust and respect. Holidays, they were really fun for us. Christian camps, where we all sit around and eat together, they're teaching us Acts 2. They're teaching us how important church family is, how important community is, and sharing. That's really important. And the money was never an issue for my mum and dad. They would just get it done, all 4 of us. I've got 3 big brothers. And I didn't really like them till I was about 13. And then we all started to like each other when the first one moved out. So that's another thing. Involve us in your life. When I was born, I had 3 big brothers, and my mum went to Tesco's every Saturday morning, and she would take me and give me a carrot. And when I was 15, she would still give me a carrot. And I would still happily just follow her around and eat that carrot when I was 15 years old. And that for us was, I started to wake up, and then that became a shared experience because it was me and Mum. We were going to get the same parking spot that we always got right at the exit. And that became our shared experience, and it created something fun for me and Mum. And that was the way we linked, was like shopping and food, because by the time I was 11, then that became like every term, so just before the summer and just before the winter, Mum would take me to Basingstoke, and we would do the same 10 shops and go to the same place for lunch. And that became our shared experience every term. And that was really important because that created trust and respect. We would walk around. This is actually quite practical. We would walk around and talk about people that we saw. And then we would talk about life. And she would tell me what she thought, and she would make assessments. And I was looking up to her. And because I trusted and respected her, I was listening to everything she had to say. And for Dad, our thing was sports. So he was really good when I was in year 5 and year 6, coming to sports days. I understand that he is a pastor, so he's a little bit more loosey-goosey than other jobs where you're away a lot more. I do totally understand that. But he really was good at making time to come. And even today, I got a football match at 2, and he'll be there. So even right through all my teen years. But because he started coming when I was like 7 or 8, I was like, oh my gosh, Dad's going to be here. And then by the time, now I'm like, you better be there. Because you were there when I was 10, and so you're going to be there now. And that trust was sorted out when I was like 9, 10, 11. Number two, talk about how great the home is. Talk about how great the house is and how great the home is. So mums, when my mum is happy, the home is generally the happiest. Because when she's laughing, everyone's like, everything's okay, we can all be silly and laugh, and everything's under control. And so what I really liked in our house is how Dad would always be like, Phoebes, I can't wait till you come home. I'm so excited for you to be... No, you don't need to go on that sleepover because I just love having you at home. And that was really, really good. And the way Mum lifted up Dad, we would sit around the table, all 6 of us. So I'd be like, 7, and then Tom would be like 10, and Joe would be like 12. So Adam would be 15, and then she would start saying how much she loved Dad in front of us, and then they'd start kissing, and we'd all go, ooh, that's gross. And she was lifting him up in front of us. So we were understanding that she was instilling into him confidence that we need him in the house, that we want him in the house, and that has affected my marriage just now, because I am instilling to Joe that I want him and I need him, and then it gives him that responsibility That it's not like he's trying to run the house, but I love it and I want him here and I love it when you're here. And so we all wanted to be at home and we all liked being at home. It was really well. I really like the way they modelled that. Number 3, get specific. Use less words more often. Can you take that Bible? Yeah, that's great. Get specific with your words. So three ways: with your words, with your encouragement, and with your questions. I nanny kids all the time who are in year 5 and year 6 every day. And I struggle when I say, how was school? And they say, good. And you're like, oh no. So then this is the question I ask. Have you been upgraded from the pencil to the biro yet? And then we talk about every class and whether they use the pencil or a biro. And I guess it was those specific questions that really you get to know someone, because you get more specific with the words we're using. My mum's favourite words were attitude, responsibility, ownership, choice, and consequence. And it was basically just those 5 words all the time. But it was better to have 5 words that she used all the time than just blabbing and blah, 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 what are you doing? Blah, blah. She just kept, it was always, you made that choice, and there's a consequence for that choice. Really good. Great stuff. I'm going to take that on. Thanks, Mum. Number 4, when we do anything right, rave about it for 2 days. When we do anything right, rave about it for 2 days. We would just be I would do something right at school, I don't know, something random. And then the next day we'd be driving in the car, and Dad'd be like, well done, Phoebes, for that tiny little thing you did yesterday. 5 minutes later, Phoebes, I love you. Well done for that thing you did yesterday. Carry on driving. It was just affirm. And then we're like, wow, I got a lot of praise for that. And it wasn't praise, or we weren't getting more of a reaction out of our parents or when we were doing something wrong. But when we were doing something right, it was raved about in the house. And the final point is lead us and show us rather than tell us. When I was in year 9, one of my best friends from church parents got divorced. And that was hard because I really felt it, because I really liked her and I really liked her family. And there was another girl in my class one day, and I think the night before or that week, Mum and Dad were always having a great week and kissing around the house, and we were all just grossed out because we're teenagers. And this girl in my class in year 9 started talking about how her parents were shouting a lot. And at that moment, I started to value my parents, because I realised they're kissing around the house and they're loving each other and they're not shouting around the house. And just by being them, they were being an influence and leading and just showing us how they loved each other. So I've probably got so much stuff I can't even say, because it's just in the background. It's just how they did life. Joe's parents are really good at loving each other. I mean, he's still like touches her bum as he goes past in the kitchen. And I love that. I'm like, whoa, we're going to be doing that after 32 years. You guys don't want to listen to anything I have to say about marriage, because you've been married for 32 years. I'm more like 32 days. That was the great thing you were good at, was leading us and just doing stuff around the house. We were good at singing grace. Dad was really good at getting us around the table, reading the Bible together. And that was spiritual leadership in the household, and I loved that. Because he was the one in charge, and Mum was just the great one, just the happy one that would just get us all in. She was so good at getting us all around, and then Dad would host us. It was amazing. Those are my 5 points. Shared experiences create trust and respect. Talk about how great the home is and how much you love being at home. Get specific with your words, your encouragement, your questions. When we do anything right, rave about it for 2 days, and lead us and show us rather than command us.